Right, the next fly we'll be tying is my version of a muddler. I use this mainly as a nighttime fly. That's the hook that I use in a size 10, and we'll get into it. I tie a small piece of feather into the tail to start with, and that's just off a pheasant. You can use a lot of different feathers off the pheasant for this. You could even use turkey feathers, anything like that, but it's just to float the behind of the fly a little bit really. Let's just tie it in. You don't need too much sticking over the back. That's enough. The next thing I tie in is the tinsel, and I use a gold tinsel. We also tie in, it's just a solid round wire, we'll call it. It's not actually a wire, but it's just in gold that we tie in next. It's just a gold rib, you'd call it, but it's round, it's not flat. We cover the whole hook shank with the gold flat. And then with our gold rib we come along in just even spaces, just to break him up a little bit. Tie that one in. Then not a great deal, just a small piece of white deer fur, just to reflect a bit of that light of the night. I'll pull a lot of this out because I just want the pretty long strandy bits. I'll just turn the hook the other way and just put those in. You don't overdo it with the white, but you need a little bit of the white in there. Just loosely to start with, and then you can crank it down a bit, because you don't want it to spin right up, you just want it to lay out nicely. Just tie those butts down. That's good. Now the deer hair that I use is a real old piece of deer hair, and when I was first learning how to spin up deer hair, I had this piece and I couldn't get it to spin up, and that's why I end up with the head that I end up with now. You'll see in a minute when I go to spin this that it just won't spin up. That'll be good, but we're going to put a wing in first. And again, this piece of wing edges out the pheasant tail. We'll put the piece of wing in like so.
Can smell that.
The deer, yeah. About to there.
Yes, it's not always good stuff, is it?
Now we'll pick up our clump, we'll trim them off nice and level. Just so it comes down, of course, loosely, and we can pull him up. See how much pressure I'm putting on that, and it's still not spinning that deer hair up. So what I did, I pushed him hard back. It's a little bit like an umbrella sort of look on the fly. Make sure you've got enough room there for your line to go through your eye. Just pull in a couple of turns on this side just to hold that back up nice and straight. Like so. A little bit of colour on that thread again, just to darken him up. You can also tie this in a black thread, it doesn't matter, it's overnight. Just before I glue him, I'll just screw some of those fibres around just a little bit, just to give it a good even coating. Push those back, because once I put the glue in here and that glue goes off, then that head will stay exactly where I want it to, which is where it is now. Good bit of soak in there. And that's the fly that I use overnight. And with that big head like that, it just pushes a lot of water, like a normal muddler, but I can never ever get the deer hair to spin up properly, and so I started tying it this way, and that's been a really good fly for me. You see how the head's all fanned out. You can bring it all the way around if you want to put a piece in the bottom, but there's the way that I like to use it.